So for fake news or not, today we're going to ask a simple question that may not have a simple answer. Yo, where's the flu at? I mean, remember the flu? What happened to the flu? For example, take a look at this data from yesterday. Exactly 1 year ago yesterday, CDC reported 54,982 flu tests the previous week, with a 31% positivity rate for 16,394 positive specimens. Last week, CDC reported only 18,531 flu tests. That's a 66% decrease. But as stark as that is, look at the next number. Only a 0.1% positivity rate for only 25 specimens in the whole country, according to CDC. That's a 99% decrease. We cured the flu, guys. Or did we? Now, I know what some of you are thinking in response to this. Probably something like this. Maybe, well, Steve, the kids aren't in school spreading the flu. That's true in what, about 40% of the country, the kids aren't in school right now. But that excuse, though, also is an admission, therefore, that kids are vectors for flu virus, but not COVID. So then why aren't all the schools open then? If this is the reason why all the schools should be open. Because kids aren't vectors for COVID, but they're vectors for the flu. You can't assert both of those things at the exact same time. One is true or one is not. Which one is it? Choose. You might also object to these numbers with something like this. You might say this instead. Well, everyone's wearing masks. Now, that excuse doesn't answer why everyone wearing masks hasn't stopped seasonal surges of COVID or produced similar steep drops in COVID, not to mention the lack of real-time evidence we have that masks even work. Now look at this data from Alabama and Mississippi. Now, Alabama, look at Mississippi, ended its statewide mask mandate last September. Alabama's has continued on. And yet, January 10th, Alabama Crimson Tide won yet another national championship. We all saw the next day, that night, the throngs celebrating out in the streets of Alabama, many of them maskless. It was a death-defying experience, we were told, right? That's what we were expecting to see in the coming days. Well, it has been, 21, almost 30 days since that celebration, and yet look at the COVID numbers in both Mississippi with no mask mandate and Alabama with one that many of its citizens were defying in order to celebrate Roll Tide. Look at the steep drop. The exact same drop. Mask mandate or not. So that excuse isn't going to work. Let's try another one, because I heard this excuse as well. Everyone is social distancing right now. Except they're not in Sweden anywhere near what they are the rest of the world. And yet, look at these numbers. And you're going to see that Sweden has experienced a very similar decline in both influenza A and influenza B, despite not having all the forced social distancing that the rest of the world has, that the United States has. It's even extended to RSV in Sweden as well. Furthermore, let's take a look at Florida, where schools have been open all year. It remains a massive tourist location. They just had the Super Bowl. Our producer, Aaron, just got back from his honeymoon in Florida. I took my family there in November, right after the election, for a vacation. Aaron, when you were at Disney World, did it look like that thing was at 30-40% capacity to you?
Not really, no.
No, it was jam-packed. You were at Universal Studios too, right?
Yeah.
Both of those entities, by the way, have been open since last July. Also, no statewide mask mandate in Florida. So schools open the whole time. Tourist attractions still open. No statewide mask mandate. And yet, compare the current diagnoses for flu this year in Florida with the previous 3-year average. This is from the Florida Department of Health. Look at the bottom number in blue, in dark blue. That bottom number in dark blue is the current flu season numbers in Florida. The dotted line above is the average flu numbers weekly in Florida for the last 3 years. Again, no mask mandate, schools open the whole time. Tourist attractions open since last summer. And look at those numbers. They're unbelievable when you see them with your own eyes. So we have Florida and Sweden as our control groups. All of the typical explanations offered for why the flu has disappeared are rejected when you look at these numbers. The current argument is essentially that the masks and social distancing worked to stop the flu, but not COVID. That when flu disappears, it's because we're wearing masks, but when COVID doesn't disappear, it's because we're not wearing masks. You know, a little bit like this cartoon. Flu is low this year because everyone's wearing masks and social distancing. Why is COVID so bad? Because no one is wearing masks or social distancing. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much what it is. Needless to say, these positions are self-refuting. But that's because most BS, frankly, is. Both of these assertions cannot be true at the same time. Either the masks work or they don't. Either we're wearing them or we're not. They can't possibly work for one virus and not the other. Furthermore, why haven't we been wearing masks every flu season our whole lives then, if this is all that it took? Choose one. You cannot have both of these narratives. They cannot be simultaneously true. You must choose one.